So, ladies and gentlemen of the press, once again we'd like to welcome you our press briefing today. And as usual, we thank you so much for coming when we call upon you. So today we are going to have a short, brief statement from the party, and it's generally about the affairs in the country. Basically, you know that there is what's happening in Parliament and the executive, trying to abolish the right to bail, and also our colleagues of the NUP, Honorable Ssegirinya and Honorable Ssewanyana, who are being incarcerated, and generally violation of human rights of that nature. And we think as a party, we ought to say something about this. So our press briefing today will be around that area. So we welcome you so much. Thank you for coming. We will have both an English and an Uganda version. And this press briefing will be released by our leader, our flag bearer, Mugisha Muntu.
Thank you, Wilberforce. Thank the colleagues. Martin Okumu, or Letter for Research and Policy, Ambassador Judith Sempala, the Letter for Women Affairs, and Wilberforce Seriazi, spokesperson. I just want to give a statement on the further shrinking of the rule of law in our country, and citing the two issues which are currently being debated within the country. The brutal rearrests of Honorable Ssewanyana and Honorable Ssegirinya. It's not the first incident. There have been many such incidents in the past. The most worrying thing is the continuation of that same culture. Because normally when a government makes a mistake, there is an uproar from the public. One would have expected that they would now know that whatever they are doing wrong, that they need to rectify. So what is worrying is that the trend continues in spite of the uproar from the public so many other times in the past. And again, to address ourselves on the campaign by the President to abolish bail for suspects on capital offenses, again, which is not the first time. The General seminars continue coming whenever there is an issue of insecurity. He comes up with this issue of amending the Constitution to ensure that there is no bail. This must be about the third time he has done that. Again, the consistency in the degeneration of the situation in our country of the rule of law. That keeps building up, which should be a worry for all of us as a Ugandan people. We are going to, I believe we have your emails. I would like to believe that you have emails of the journalists who are here. We are going to mail this statement onto your email so that you can go through the details of it. On the issue of bail, we are glad to hear that there is resistance within the NRM caucus. Understandably, because they themselves are fearful that they could become victims. And we hope that they will maintain that stand so that the status quo remains. But the issue of bail is well established. The law is well established within our constitution. The judiciary, which is an independent organ of the three organs of state, legislature, judiciary, and the executive. The judges have got leeway to determine, according to certain conditions, that can be said to give bail or not to give bail. We wonder why even General Museveni continues on that path. One, he should give us statistics as to how many people have jumped bail. We don't know many people who have jumped bail when they have been given bail after committing serious or when they are suspects in serious offenses. Because if there were so many people who are jumping bail, that one would understand the fear that the executive would have. But on the other side, for those who've been given bail, and even for those whom court at times chooses not to give bail, the record we have so far on successful prosecutions and judgments and sentencing of people on serious crime is where the problem is. We have consistently said this and would like to repeat that the problem is not in the law. The problem is in the departments that are supposed to, one, investigate prosecutions and then the judgment in the courts of law. More investment from any government that wants to have stability in the country, have justice administered, have got to keep on investing in those three areas. The criminal investigation department, in the prosecutions department, and in the judiciary. But another issue that we'd like to highlight, and we hope all of us as Ugandans who want to see change and qualitative change, that we need to address ourselves specifically to that area. Because all of us are reacting to these issues over and over. And many more incidents are going to keep happening. Incidents like, where the regime tramples on people's rights and freedoms. We believe they will continue happening because we don't see any change in attitude, any change in intentions on the side of the regime. So there are many issues which will keep coming up and we keep on reacting. But as Ugandans, we need to understand that all the issues we are dealing with, the rearrest of members of parliament, the debate on amendment of the constitution to amend the right to bail, are symptoms of a larger problem. And that's what we need to deal with. If we are going to change our country and put it back on track. There is an entrenched culture which has grown over a period of time. As we speak, as we already indicated, the problem is not with the law. Right now we have a crisis in this country created by consistent wrong actions on the side of the government. So we have a problem in the executive. We have a problem in the legislature or parliament. The moment the Ugandan parliament amended 2 safeguards in the constitution, 1, removing the term limits, 2, removing age limits, and therefore created an opening in which we can see the executive trampling on the rights and freedoms of the citizens with impunity. So far we have 2 problems, on the executive, on parliament. The judiciary has a problem, a deep problem. But while we talk extensively on the executive and on the legislature, we are normally very, very cautious when talking about the judiciary. The judicial officers are protected by the law. They've got security of tenure. The terms and conditions of services have been greatly improved over a period of time. And one would have hoped in a situation like we are in, that we would be seeing the judiciary which stands firm and administers justice. We don't see that. I'm not going to go into the details, even besides the issues of the current situation of the arrest of members of parliament. We look, for example, in what is happening in the area of petitions. And what is worrying, the depth of the manipulation, the depth of the corruption that run through that department. We don't intend to go into details. I really would like to put up a red flag so the judicial officers who really love this country, who know what we've gone through for the last 59 years, who hopefully would want to see this country getting back on track, that they need within their own judicial system, behind closed doors, sit, go through soul searching, so that they can be part of the process of turning this country round. It's a responsibility that we would want them to be part of. We don't want to go on the offensive against judiciary. It's judiciary to some of us, from our own estimation, in regard to the 3 organs of the 3 pillars of state: executive, legislature. They can go mess up things. We've seen that happen in many countries. Judiciary is sacred in as far as some of us are concerned. Any judge, any magistrate who finds himself or herself in that seat, they need to consider that the seat that they sit in to make judgments are secret. So for anybody, any man or woman who ends up in that seat and contaminates it by whatever actions, omissions to act, it is the ultimate betrayal of the people. So we would like to appeal to those who are in those seats because of the respect we would want to have for that specific pillar of state. Because we are always moving against openly, bare-knuckled, against the legislative branch, against the executive, but we hesitate to go bare-knuckled against the judiciary because of the respect that we want to keep for it as an institution. And therefore ask those who are in those positions to start engaging in actions of redeeming that institution. Where we are at as a country is not a good state of being as a nation. We keep on moving closer and closer to what could easily become a crisis in this country. Nobody wants that. We are dealing with symptoms of a larger problem in this country. What these issues we are talking about? The arrest of members of parliament, the whole debate about rights and the freedoms of people. I will need to search deeper and find out what exactly is creating the kind of behavior amongst us as an educated class of people. Many highly educated people, lawyers, doctors, professors, people highly educated in different disciplines, who are positioned in the different areas. Some in the parliament, others in the judiciary, those in the executive, that we are simply not able to do what is right. And for 59 years, the crisis keeps on getting deeper and deeper. That's what the issue is. The issue is not with the law. Even the principles of governance are known. We debate them all the time on radios, on TVs, in newspapers. So what is the problem? Why is there a clash between what we know to be right and what we do? That's what the problem is. And therefore, we would like to keep on communicating to the educated class, because that's where leadership comes from, in whatever area of leadership you go, whether it is in the politics, whether it is in the judiciary, whether it is in management of whatever departments of government. That's what we need to engage in, debate that. Because it's a culture, it's deep. That people are looking for big fixes. Instant gratification, because that's what's leading all these people in the judiciary, in the legislature, in the executive, doing wrong. Instant gratification. It's deep. So how do we turn around the country? We need to engage in that debate over and over. I also hope that the many Ugandans who want to see a better future, that we keep on gravitating towards each other in whatever formations we are, and build a critical mass, a critical number of people who will influence the change in culture in whatever departments they are in. That's what the problem is. Incidentally, while we congratulate the NRM caucus for standing against what General Museveni is proposing to amend the constitution, my biggest worry is that they themselves fear that they can easily become victims On one side, it is good that they would stand against that. But the worrying part also is that when it comes to other issues which don't affect them directly, they just give it a carte blanche. It's the same parliament which has amended the constitution twice, because most of them hoped to benefit from that. So again, it points to character. The character of us, the elite. And our hope and request to the press houses, the media houses, the level of influence that you can wield. We really hope that you can keep on generating this debate, because there is nobody who is going to change this country falling from Mars or from the moon or from China or America or Europe or wherever. The solution will have to come from ourselves as Ugandans. So we are hoping, therefore, that beyond the press conferences that we hold, that you as journalists, looking at the crisis that we are in, as Uganda, as a country, 59 years, the same trend, which seems is infecting even the same situation, more or less, a number of African countries, that where the source of the problem, how do we change our character? How do we ensure that we know what is right? How do we put it into practice? How do we put into practice what is right? That's the only protection to us as a people, this as far as the Ugandan people are concerned. And therefore, if you keep on generating this debate, that hopefully those who want to see a better future can engage in that. Because right now, the biggest danger is that we are reactive. And we keep on reacting. There's no problem. We have to keep reacting to the wrong things which the regime does. We have to go beyond the reaction and start working on measures for resolving the problem by uprooting it from, from the roots. That's a request we'd like to put to you as Ugandans who happen to be journalists. That you guide the debate, that you influence the debate beyond the momentary. Because I can tell you, even what we are reacting to now, within 2 weeks something else could emerge, and we can easily forget about what we are reacting to now. 3 months down the road, something else will happen, then we'll react to that. 6 months down the road, something else will happen, then we'll react to that. But the best keeps on rotting. The best keeps on rotting. And to change that, it will only come through consistent debate over this critical issue. That we as the educated class, we don't expect there's going to be any peasant anytime soon who's going to go to parliament. The limitation, first there's a limitation of education. You're not going to expect any peasant soon who's going to become the president of this country unless the constitution is changed. So the solution is going to come from the educated class. But we must grapple with the problem that there is. It is deeper than the symptoms that we see, that we react to on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis. That while change will happen, I mean, you can see that. As far as I'm concerned, General Museveni is hanging on by the skin of his teeth. Whatever happens, there will be change. So therefore, our request to the Ugandan people is, as we respond to these issues which keep coming, but we keep on responding to, they also spend time, adequate time, in getting the measures that must be put into place for us to reverse this trend in this country. Because change, where change happens all the time, change need not necessarily be qualitative change. And that's why we keep on talking about this as Alliance for National Transformation. And we intend to keep talking on that over and over, until it sinks deep, at least in a number of Ugandans who are in positions of influence, for us to work together to get a more long-lasting solution in the politics of our country. And with that, I would like to end our briefing. There is a statement which is signed by our leader, the Acting National Coordinator, Honorable Ali Salaso, and is going to be forwarded for purposes of detail to your emails. Thank you for responding to our call.
I think before we go into the question session, I think we may need a Uganda version of that, and then we can have questions.
Tuvumirira ebikolwa gavumenti byesigadde ng'ekyakola kubanga si gwe omulundi ogusoose. Ekyokwata abakulembeze abantu be baasindika mu Parliament, ababaka Honorable Alan Ssewanyana, Honorable Ssegirinya, si gwe mulundi ogusoose gavumenti eno okukwata ababaka. Kino ebizibu bibiri. Ekisooka engeri gye bakwatamu kati engeri gye bakwatamu omubaka bw'oba oyagala okukwata omubaka osobola okuwandiikira sipiika n'amugamba n'agenda ku CID department bw'oba oyagala kukwata omubaka. Nalabyeko ku kaklipa akamu engeri mmotoka gyafulumutuse eri munda mu kigo ng'efolowinga mmotoka ebaddemu omubaka omu ng'olaba nti wasobola n'okubaawo accident. Weebuuza lwaki bakola ekyo? Ekyo kye kisooka. Ekyokubiri, bwe bakola ebintu mu ngeri eyo ey'ekiyaaye ku mubaka, kati omuntu owa bulijjo ye anaaba atya? Ekirala ekya Gen. Museveni okugamba nti ekyokweyimirira bakifeeko. Tekuli problem muteeka eririwo kati era bwe lyandisaanidde okusigala nga bwe liri. Kubanga ku misango egyo egyanagomo, egy'emisango egy'obutujju, emisango gya okukozesa emundu okubba, kooti erina obusobozi okuwa bbeeru oba okugaana okuwa bbeeru. Era bwe kyandisigadde. Naye si gwe mulundi ogusoose Gen. Museveni okukola kyekukireeta mu mbuga za politics. Ekirungi members ba Parliament abali mu NRM bakirabika bakigaanye era tubawagira bagende mu maaso bakigaane ekimudda. Naye ekirala kye twagala okubuulira Bannayuganda n'okusaba abo abaatendekebwa mu by'amawulire okulaba nti ebintu bino ebigenda nga bibaawo mu wiiki, mu mwezi, mu myezi 6 bye tuvumirira biri ng'omusujja. Kwegamba kyagala tutegeere obulwadde obuleeta omusujja bulwadde bwa kika ki. Kwegamba tulabe nti tugonjoola obulwadde kubanga waliko omusujja ogw'ensiri, waliko emisujja egy'ebika ebirala. Naye omusujja ndowooza kitegeeza okubeera n'ebbugumo esusse mu temperature level ezosaanidde okubeera nazo ng'omu. N'olwekyo bw'oba nga tomanyi omusujja obulwadde ekireese omusujja, osobola okusigala ng'omira amakerenda okukendeeza ku bbugumo ne weerabira nti ekireese omusujja kirala. N'olwekyo tuteekwa okunoonyereza ekyo ekivaamu obulwadde obwo obulabika buli lunaku, buli kwezi, omusujja ogujja. Emirandira gyagwo giri luddawa? Era obulwadde bwa kika ki obwo tubugonjoole tutya okulaba nti tukyusa eggwanga lyaffe okudda ku mulamwa? Kubanga ne Gen. Museveni abantu gwe batya abakooti bamutya, aba palamenti bamutya. Kye bamutya si kitegeera. Ali mu kkubo agenda, bw'aba avuddewo tekitegeeza nti obulwadde buwedde. Masi yasoose. Obote yaliwo mu nkaaga, Abini n'ajja mu bigere bye, Muwanga n'ajja, Mugulutwa n'ajja, Museveni n'ajja. Naye ng'obulwadde olaba nti bwe bumu. Baali misujja, yes, mu bika byabwe, mu mannya ne mu ndabika yaabwe. Naye ng'obulwadde kirabika bwe bumu. Kitegeeza ki? Nti omusujja guno gujja kuvaawo bwe tuba nga tetugonjodde obulwadde bwennyini, obulwadde bukole ki? Busigale. Ate omusujja omulala nagwe guveeyo. Kubanga bwe tuba nga tetutadde maaso, emisujja ekireeta gino emisujja ne bakola byonna bye bakola. Ensi yonna nesigala mu bunkenke. Emirundi gyonna gye tuyiseemu kyeteekwa okwewala okulaba nti kati obulwadde n'omusujja byonna bigendera wamu. Naye nga tubasaba mwabali mu ebyamawulire, kubanga muli bamawulire naye ekikulu muli bannayuganda. Mulaba ensi entebenkevu, mulaba ensi ezikulaakulana, mulaba ensi ezirimu obwenkanya, mulaba ensi ezirimu okwenkana mu maaso g'amateeka. Era abantu abakyusa ensi ez'okuzikulaakulanya okubeera mu mbeera eyo tebaava weeru w'amawanga, baava mu mawanga wogennyini. Nolwekyo nga tubasaba eddoboozi eryo temulireka ne likola ki? Neri that yes. Kubanga ffenna tuli muno tuli bannayuganda, enamba egenda mu maaso eyeeyongera. Tuli bantu miliyoni 42. Bwe mulaba population projections ziraga nti tugenda kubeera nga miliyoni 10 myaka nga 25. Basinga obungi mumwe mugenda kuba mu myaka 4 5 nga tutuuse miliyoni ez'ekikumi. Kati bwe tuba nga tetugonjodde obulwadde ne tubusikayo ku miranda gyabo ne tugyokya ne tulyoka ne tusimba wabupya, olaba mu maaso gye tulaga nti na bino bye twogerako bino bisobola okuba like kindergarten stuff. Uri amawanga twali tulowooza nti kuuzi ziwedde mu Africa, ffenna kye twali tulowooza kubanga zaali nyingi mu 6 mu 7. Waliko lwe twalina ndowooza military regimes mu 6 mu 7 zaatuuka mu regimes nga 35 in the whole continent. Kati bw'olaba trend eyaliwo yali mu kugenda mu democracy nga tenabeera bulungi, kubanga tenatuuka ku mutendera gye twandijagaddemu, naye nga tulowooza tugenda mu maaso mpola mpola. Naye kati olaba mawanga gamu reverse ezibaddeyo ng'owulira kuuzi. Ate kuuzi zo tezina ddagala ku African continent. Waliko ebitundu abakozesa eryanyi bwe baleeta eddagala mu mawanga gaabwe ne bagakulaakulanya, democracy nejja oluvannyuma. Wano mu Africa twabeera na obwanakyemalira obwa one party state, ne tubeera ne bwanakyemalira obw'amagye, naye amawanga ne gasigala mu bisibu nga temulimu bwenkanya, nga temulimu nkulaakulana, kwegamba ne tubeera awo nga tulina obulwadde obwo bwennyini. Nakati bwe twogerako okwagala ebintu ebyamangu, obutaba na discipline, obutatunulira abantu abasinga obungi nti ye focus yaki yenkulaakulana y'eggwanga. Kubanga tulaba amawanga South Korea, Singapore balina bwanakyemalira naye ne baconcentrate nga ne bateeka essira mu kukulaakulanya amawanga gaabwe. Abantu ne bakulaakulana enkulaakulana y'amawanga kati ne babeera democratic oluvannyuma. Kubanga olaba endowooza mwaka ogumu ogwaggwanga e South Korea, Prime Minister wa South Korea bamuteeka mu kooti ne zimusalira omusango era ne bamusiba. Ekyali kitasoboka mu 8 mu 7 mu South Korea tekyandisoboka. Singapore yalina obwanakyemalira yakulaakulana neva mu third world kati eri mu first world. Wano obwanakyemalira bwonna oba bubeere obwa one party state abo baali ba civilian president. Wano waliko omugenzi Dr. Bodi yali civilian teri wamagye. Bw'okola research nawo mu mawanga gonna awaali obwanakyemalira one party state mu Africa bangi. Ab'amagye nabo ne bayingira nabo nga bwanakyemalira. Naye bonna nga bali mu byakubba. Nga bonna tebatunulira enkulaakulana y'eggwanga. Kugamba tulina obulwadde. Tubuteekeko ki essira tulabe engeri gye tubugonjoola nga bwe tuzimba omusingi gw'okutambuliza kw'eggwanga nnyabo ne basso. Ebyo bye tuwadde nabyo.
Jeno mu bitundu olina ensonga bbiri ze bakoonyeko ku tteeka ng'ogamba nti obuzibu tebuli ku tteeka lyennyini wabula buli ku bitongole ebivunaanyizibwa ku nsonga ezo muli ekyobulamuzi
ku bantu abali mu bitongole.
Abantu ogenda kinyumirako era mu Luganda kikkaatiriza n'ogamba ne kukya ababaka nti kyebakoze kituufu naye tebakikoze lwakubeera nti bakirabye mu butuufu bwakyo wabula
Kwekirabika
lwakuba nti balabye kiyinza okubakwata mu maaso nakyo kinyumirwa mu Uganda.
Tuwagira ababaka abasinga obungi abali mu movement olw'okugaana enkyusakyusa ya constitution General Museveni gy'abadde ayagala okukola ki okubayingizaamu. Tubawagira bagende mu maaso bakigaane. Naye ate tubasaba beeyongereko okusinga ku ekyo kubanga kino tukiraba nti batya nti baba nga bakyusiza etteeka eryo nabo basobola okukola ki okukwatibwamu mu ekyo. Bagamba ekirabika nti bagaanye kuwa interesi zaabwe kinoomu. Obukulembeze obulungi bwe kulaba nti bakola ebyo ebirala ne bwe baba nga bo bennyini si bo gye nga si bo bye bigenda okunyigiriza naye ebintu n'ebyo bye bandiroozezza nti omukulembeze abyagala naye nga bisobola okuleeta ebizibu ku ggwanga. Kubanga singa baali bakola mu ngeri eyo tebandikyusa constitution ne bajjako ekisaanyi, tebandikyusa mu constitution ne bajjako eky'emyaka. Kati ensi eri mu bunkenke ku lw'ebyo ebibiri. Naye ng'abo baabikola nga balowooza nti bagenda kuganyulwamu bo kubanga baali members ba palamenti ba ekibiina ekyali mu bufuzi nakati ekyali mu bufuzi. Nolwekyo bakola ebintu ebirimu ki amagezi. Tebakola ebintu ebyokweyagaliza amangu instant gratification. Bwe bulwadde obusinga mu mawanga gaffe ag'abaddugavu. Tetwagala okukola ebintu eby'olubeerera. Twagala okukola ebintu ebyamangu nfunamuwa. Bwe bulwadde obuli mu palamenti, bwe bulwadde obuli mu judiciary, bwe bulwadde obutuli mu ffe as an elite, a political elite. Katonda tubeere n'ekisa tukole kyonna ekisoboka okujja obulwadde obwo mu ffe ng'abantu b'eggwanga kubanga tetusobola okukyusa ekkubo eggwanga we liri ne tulizza ku mulamwa nga tetukoze eki nga tetugonjodde obulwadde obwo. Kubanga tunula kuva mu 62 okutuusa kati emyaka 59 kubanga ekyo ekyokweyagaliza ekyamangwe ago kyekituleetera okuba abananfuusi kyekituleetera okuba abalimba mu politics era ekyomukisa omubi kati ebyo birabika nga byebikola muki mu politics abo batabikola nga balowooza nti abo bazibe b'amaaso tebamanyi nakye bakola. Bayibuli egamba nti kyosiga kyokungu. Bwe tusigala nga tusiga enkola y'ekika ekyo erabika nga n'abantu aba bulijjo gye banyumirwamu oba gye bategeera nti yekola baleke kukaaba nno. Bwe tukungula bino ebiva mu nsigo ezo ze bafukirira amazzi ne zikula ne zikola emyaka 5 same things, different actors, same culture, same direction, same impunity. And then on the side of the public, of the population, fear. But there cannot be any effective dictatorship unless the people participate in their own oppression. It's just simply not possible. Just simply can't happen. Naye ne mupe mu bantu abantu agamba owaye owafira muge tekulika ajja kutuusa eggwanga lino neridda ku mulamwa nerigenda mu kkubo etuufu ng'abantu bokka tebenyigiddemu mu kukyusa endowooza n'enkola. Tolaba members ba parliament olaba abo judicial officers abakola ebintu ebi sijja kwogera ku kooti twagala kugirekamu ekitiibwa naye bamanye nti balina obuvunaanyizibwa okweddamu kubanga oluusi parliament executive tusobola okukyogerako byonna bye twagala okukyogerako naye twagala mpola mpola abo abali muki bayivu bonna abo judges magistrates bayivu beddemu mu consciences zaabwe beebuuze eggwanga liragawa. Ye president bamutya ki? Baina security of tenure. Okuba pushinga engeri gye hariko byesagala okugendamu. Kyetulaga si walungi. Katonda asobola okutubeera n'ekisa tutaase wabeewo enkyukakyuka ey'emirembe kyetwagala. Naye Katonda bw'aba nga tatubeerere na kisa kyetulaga wali obuseerezi bw'amaanyi. Era ekizibu ekireeta eggwanga okusaabulukuka kwe kugwamu essuubi. Essuubi katwandiba twagala tuliteeke mu judiciary bakole ebintu ebinaazizamu abantu essuubi tumanye nti bwe kubaako okusika omuguwa mu politics nti waliko abalamuzi abali ku bbali abali kungulu abeetadde abeeyimusizza ne beeteeka ku level etali nga bye tulaba mu ki mu mpisa ez'eggwanga lyaffe. Bo bagende waggulu. They need to take the moral high ground and give hope to the country. Naye bw'olaba ebiriwo byesijja kugenda mu details zaabyo. Bible egamba, they will be known by their fruits. All of us, all of us. Tulimanyibwa kuva mu kuki bibala byaffe. Si kyekyo. Tosobola kwekweka. Tekuliko kyosobola okweka mu nsi muno. Osobola okukikola mu nzikiza n'olowooza kiwedde. Naye ebyobuwanga bw'ensi, amateeka g'ensi, waliko amateeka g'ensi g'otasobola okukyusa. Ky'onookola mu nzikiza enkya kivaayo emisana ttuku. Abo abali mu ki mu judiciary etteeka eryo liri waggulu waffe ffenna. The good thing, that law applies to all of us. That there's nothing which is hidden that will not be exposed. Ever. That's the law of nature. That's a spiritual law. Fortunately, all of us, it's applicable to all of us. Whether you're in politics, whether you are a judicial officer. So we all need to be very careful. So today, you may please the powers that be, and you do wrong. And things which are done between 2 people, 3 people at times in a room may not come out in the open. There may be no proof in terms of documentary proof. But the actions, so if they are consistent, will bear out that. And that law, at some point, will bring you out in the open, and you'll be exposed. Just simply giving them advice. We respect the judiciary. We really resist from attacking the judiciary, at least in as far as I'm concerned, as an individual. I try the best I can not to, because I look in an individual capacity. I look at judicial officers as people who have been so fortunate to sit in the places where they are, because I believe that those are secret places where you judge another human being. You can send another human being to death legally as a judicial officer. That's what the president can't do, unless they do it illegally. The parliament can't do that. The judiciary can't do that. When appealing to their sense, their consciousness, to do what is right, irregardless of whatever anybody else may be trying to do.
Do we have any questions? 3 English questions and 3 Uganda questions.
I only have one.
From where?
My name is Jamila Mlindwa from NBS TV. And General, in your address, it looks more like most of the issues you're addressing today, the problem stems from the Office of the President, Fountain of Honor. And I would like to know that, in your view, do you think it's time Uganda as a country we start a discussion, a debate of scrapping the presidential immunity?
The problem is not with the...
Maybe you answer then consecutive. Another one? Do you have another question in English? Maybe not. Do you know any people from Uganda?
That's someone not in Uganda.
They don't class but they don't. That's what? No questions, the class was good. Okay. think there's one question.
The problem is deeper than what is in the law. The laws, in as far as I'm concerned, if they were applied, we wouldn't have the executive riding roughshod, and effectively so, over the other pillars of state. There's absolutely no reason why, for example, Parliament can't take a stand and say no to the president. Because for them to amend the constitution twice and remove the safeguards, it wasn't because of anything else other than the weakness in their estimation of things, the weakness in their levels of understanding as the consequences of their action. Because all of them were looking at instant gratification. How do they appease the powers that be? Others were acting out of fear. If I stand ground, they're going to fight me in the constituency. Yes, even if they fight, you can still win. Or even if you lose, but you have done something to safeguard the country. That's what the problem is. That people are looking at themselves as individuals, as if an individual can be an island. When the country sinks, you sink with it. To not understand that is quite surprising. Now you can see they have taken a stand because there is immediate individual interest. Because most of them believe that if they pass this law, that they themselves can fall victim. So there is an individual interest. So we're only asking them to go beyond individual interest and also do things in the national interest. Because I don't think it's just a question of all the presidents we've had have been acting with the impunity, not because of that safeguard in the law, but because they believe that they can do anything and go with it. With the law or without the law, because they manipulate society, they manipulate parliament, they manipulate judiciary, and when those two go along, then they do worse things. So, basically, I'm saying, if those who are in the judiciary stand firm, those in the legislature stand firm, the law can remain as it is, and it can be applied well, and I can tell you that we'll have a better society. The problem is not in the law, the problem is in the actors, and on all sides. We don't look at things long term. We don't look at the consequences of our actions. I saw John Museveni, bashing the coups. Coups on this continent, he must be very well aware that coups don't happen by accident. There are two types of coups that have happened on this continent in Africa. Two types of coups that have happened. One, coups that are organized by foreign forces. That has also happened in a number of African countries, where there are presidents or leaders who want to do the right thing. But when they want to do the right thing, it's clashing with the foreign interests. And then foreign interests organize for the coups of those African leaders. But for those coups to happen, to be successful, they always collaborate within those countries, as we ask those patriots or those nationals. That's one type of coup. The second coup is when the leaders in a country close all channels of discussing and resolving political issues. And therefore, no other alternative remains other than either a coup, a military coup, or in other cases where there have been armed warfare, which should be something of the past. So, like the coup leaders in Guinea. Alpha Conte had just manipulated the constitution. And the outcomes is what came out. They had different conditions in Guinea, the army stepped in, and as well there will be a solution, I don't know. But that's not the issue. The issue is that there was a reaction, and what ended up happening there? Why go that direction at all? Most in countries who have gone through so many such experiences. General Museveni should have condemned the Alpha Conte for changing the constitution, not just rise up and start condemning the army for. I don't support coups at a personal level, I don't. Also recognize when they happen, understand the root causes of them. So most times we solve the root causes, and then we will prevent them from happening. Ndowooza tumaze.
Oluganda
nga nabyogeddeko mu Luganda ate.
Ensonga ya two types of coups.
Mu mawanga ga Africa, myaka ensi ezasooka okubeera n'obwetwaze ndowooza yali Sudaani oba nga nzijukira bulungi. Wagana abaki ensinga obungi zaafuna obwetwaze mu ataano in the 1950s. Kati mu myaka nga nkaaga twakalaba kuuzi okusingira kimu ddala mu myaka egyankaaga mu myaka egyansanvu. Naye nga kuliko ebika ebibiri eby'amagye okujjawo eggwanga. Waliko amagye bwe gakozesebwa abantu abava ebweru okubaako abakulembeze mu ggwanga abaagala kukola ebintu eby'omugaso ku bantu baabwe. Bwe nga baagala kukola ebintu ebinaakulaakulanya amawanga gaabwe ne kibaleetera okukontana n'abo abava ebweru, kwegamba ne bakola ki? Ne bateekako eyoku. Naye tesobola kubaawo nga tekuliko bannakigwanyizi munda. Ensi ez'ebweru ne bayitiramu okukola ki? Okukyusa abakulembeze abalungi mu mawanga awanga bagala kulaakulanya amawanga. Kuuza endala ez'ekika ekirala. Abakulembeze mu ggwanga bwe baggala amakubo gonna agandiyitibwamu enteesaganya mu by'obufuzi, bagamba n'osanga nti tekuliko kkubo ddala, amagye ne gakola ki? Ne gawamba. Naye mu kulaba okwange kuuzi zo ze tulabye mu Africa tezinatugasa, era tetunalaba ne sayinsi tizisobola okugasa mu ngeri yonna, kubanga waliko ebitundu bye twalamu obufuzi obweryani, era ne South Korea wabaayo waliyo General Park Chung-hee. General Park Chung-hee yakulembera South Korea, era baali bakozesa eryani, era ne bamala ebbanga nga balina dictatorship South Korea. Tewaliyo ebyobufuzi ebiri ebyobwerufu tebalina, naye ekyenjawulo kye balina kye tutaanaba nakyo mu Africa, bateeka essira mu kukulaakulanya eggwanga, kubanga twali ku level y'emu mu nkaaga ffenna East Africa ne South Korea. Naye ku lw'okuteeka essira ne basiba ku politics, ne bateeka essira ku byenkulaakulana y'eggwanga. Kati laba South Korea weeri. Per capita income ya South Korea kati eri ku I think United States dollars $2,250. Fe nabo twali ku per capita income obugaga bw'eggwanga bw'obugabanya mu namba y'abantu eri mu ggwanga eryo, kwegamba buli muntu afunamu ki? Afunamu sente mmeka? Kati mu nkaaga Korea naffe Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda fena twali mu $300. kati mu myaka 59 bw'ogabanya obugaga bwa Uganda yonna bwonna obw'ekika kyonna mu namba y'abantu be tulina 442 buli munnauganda kati afuna $1,000. South Korea bw'ogaba obugaga bwa South Korea mu bantu bonna ab'e South Korea buli mu South Korea afuna emitwalo 2,500. Kuja mirundi mmeka? How many times is that? 25 times? 25 times. Munkaga batambudde emirundi 25 ne batukulakulana emirundi 25 okusinga ffe. Naye manya nti mu musingi gwe wali bazimba waliko lubaina ki abakulembeze abaana kyemalira naye ne baziba amakubo ag'ebya politics naye ne bagula ag'enkulaakulana eggwanga ne likulaakulana ate oluvannyuma ne wakubaawo okugulibwawo okwa politics. Olaba ne prime minister waabwe bamuteeka mu kooti omukazi eyali prime minister mu myaka 2 ejjaggwa mu kooti olwatu bakuliko obwerufu ne banoonyereza ne basanga nti yali mu kulya enguzi ne bamuteeka mu komera ali mu komera kati. Ffe mu Africa ne bwe twayita mu bwanakyemale bwa one party state kusanga nti party erina bwanakyemale oba mu military ne politics tuzikyankalanya n'ebyenkulaakulana ne bicyankalanya byonna kwegamba ne kutabaako ki everything olw'obutatunulira ku ggwanga nga twetunako ffe. The culture of instant gratification, at least in those who occupy positions of responsibility, needs to be stamped out. It has to be stamped out. That's the only solution. The good news is that there are many Ugandans who have those capabilities. But they are on the sidelines, fearing to go directly into politics. At least we haven't had a critical number yet in politics. Because it's after 500 members of parliament, if we had 250 who think and act in that way, there's no way this country would be in a mess. One, the constitution would never have been changed twice. That's the root of the problem. That's what we need to address. Kyetuva tugamba abannayuganda bwe tutadde nga Alliance for National Transformation. Era tekuliiko ekijja kujja amaaso gaffe, emitima gyaffe, amaanyi gaffe mu kuzimba ekyo. Abantu ne bw'oba nga kirabika abasinga obungi tebanakitegeera. Tujja kukiteekako essira okutuuka lwe kinaatuukirira. Era ku lw'ekisa kya Katonda kijja kuba. We just can't live in a mess like we see now. And everybody is driven by self, by self, by self. We're trying to build an institution here rooted in values. Kuri abantu abagamba nti values tuzirya. Wosiga values wavaamu ki ebyo ebizimba omusingi omunywevu ne kikusobozesa okukola bizinesi zo bulungi n'ofuna essente n'ogula by'oyagala okulya. Values kwegamba liringa ettaka ekimu ng'oteeka ensigo n'ekola ki n'esebuka n'ekula n'oggyako ebibala ng'omuyembe guno n'olya omuyembe. Naye bw'oba nga totaddeemu ki nga tolina ttaka nga ttaka anfataiso baliyita batya mu Luganda eritali gimu. Omuntu n'agamba nti tuteekeko ettaka eggimu n'omubuuza nti ettaka eggimu tulirya. Ligenda okuwa emmere ky'onoolya. Katonda bakulembere.
Thank you very much for coming. Mwebale nnyo kujja bannaffe tweyanziza.
Mutase eggwanga lino. You don't know the, of the